Say low network connection. Oh, hold on everybody. Hi, it's Sunday fun day, and I'm here to chat with you. Hang on one sec, my friends. Hold on one sec, my friends. Here we go. I'm going to share this to my biz page. And then I'm kind of in the mood to, hey Nicole, I'm kind of in the mood to put on a little bit of music. So I'm going to do that too. All right. Hey Sam. Good morning, y'all. So I've got for you kind of a very vulnerable share. And I'm just feeling called to talk about this today. And it's going to require me, to get kind of raw and kind of real and do talk about something that still to this day makes me kind of sad. So hold on one second. I feel like I need a little bit of like music of some sorts. Let me find something that, Hold on, my friends. Hey Tanya, good morning everybody. Why am I clicking the wrong thing? I am clicking the wrong thing. Hold on one second, my friend. Let's see. Let me put on some chakra music. I'm gonna put on some little chakra music because I'm doing my, okay, some tones, this purdy, isn't this purdy? So isn't it funny, like lately Facebook Live is being so weird. Like it is not giving the same exposure anymore. Oh my goodness. It is definitely something changed in the algorithm, and I'm noticing that I'm having a lot less peeps on when I go live than I used to. So strange. Facebook is funny, isn't it? But still we persist. So today's gonna be a little bit of a vulnerable share for me. And the title of this live stream said, you can fuck up and you can still get woke. Now I have to say, the word woke kind of triggers me and I get irritated about it because to me that's divisive. So I'm just using it because it's so like friggin' cliche these days, but I don't love it. So I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that. And it's not what you think. I'm not talking about politics. I'm not talking about like any of this crazy shit that people like, you gotta go get woke. Like, no. No, and if you're talking about politics and woke in the same sentence, no. Sorry, but no. But that's a whole other video. So I know that I've had so much great feedback about my online series about the Awakened Empath, and people who have loved it. All of the speakers are talking about so many different things, their own gifts, their own specialties, their own areas of expertise and what they've learned, that some feel like they're behind, or they feel like, how could they, and I know because I've been here too, like how can I have my own spiritual awakening? How can I pursue more knowledge about my own gifts, about my own intuitions, about maybe even become a healer or a coach or somebody who helps people on their journeys? How can I do that? How can I do that if I have fucked up in my life? How can I do that? Right? Thinking that each person who is like either, whether it's my speakers or it's me or it's someone that you're listening to, you think, oh, they either have some special gift, they had some big awakening because they were chosen ones, or because they didn't fuck up as badly as me. They didn't make all the mistakes. Like, look, given like a Mother Teresa kind of complex, certainly, because of what I've done, can't be, they must have done stuff, but not as bad as me. They didn't make mistakes like me. And would God or creator or spirit allow me to have this awakening, allow me to step into my gifts, allow me to be the highest version of me when I've done that, right? And I'm here to tell you today, and I know as much as people are just loving my interview series, and by the way, if you haven't seen it, we're only in the middle of it right now. We're on day 7. There are 4 days left, and then there's doing an encore replay. So go into the comments here, and the link to get access is there. It's so good. definitely people from all sorts of spiritual backgrounds and modalities and healers and authors and speakers talking about their own journey and what you can do to develop your own gifts, okay? So super good, the awakened empath. I know some have felt like, well, I don't know if I could get to that level. I don't know if, my journey is the same as theirs, or I have had these things in my past that surely that isn't meant for me. I'm curious. So those of you who are spiritually curious, you want to dive in, but you're holding yourself back, or you feel like there's callings in your soul, but you don't want to dive deeper for fear of maybe what you're going to find out, or maybe there's guilt and shame around the life that you've had before this, and feeling like how the hell can I help people if I'm a hot mess, or if I've been a hot mess? And I'm going to tell you a vulnerable share today, because people watch me too and think that it's been smooth sailing for me, or I must not have done, Jen, you're so inspiring and you're want to help people and you have this generous huge heart, how could you do anything? How could you fuck up? And I'm here to say, yeah, not only do I fuck up all the time, even still right now, but here's a really big one, and I want to share this with you so people can, if I'm feeling this way, or if I have felt this way, surely there's someone else out there too who has made mistakes that still break their heart, and yet you can still move on. If I can inspire any of you to still move on and dive into your highest calling, to reach your full potential and not sit in a place of regret, not sit in a place of self-punishment, feeling like, well, if I did all those things, then if I sit here and punish myself and I'm miserable, then somehow I'm either serving the person that you hurt, or you're serving the greater good because you're punishing yourself. Because God doesn't punish you. I don't care, I'm sorry, maybe I'm gonna ruffle some feathers and go against some religions, but I don't believe God punishes. I believe that we punish ourselves, and we create hell on earth because we are assuming that's what God wants. We are assuming that God wants us to repent and be miserable, and somehow that's gonna make it right. Meanwhile, you're living in a lower vibration every single day. God didn't just create you to sit here and be fucking miserable or to not reach your highest potential. No, right? Because that's not doing you, your family, your loved ones, or the planet any good. The goal of us as humans, I don't believe we're here by accident or random pieces of matter. I believe that we're here to cultivate the next level of humanity, the next awakening to our humanness, more like bringing our spirituality and bringing our spiritual, our souls, we're bringing that more and more to our earthly selves. So we're the spiritual beings having a human experience, and we're gonna have an even greater, more expansive experience. But we have to allow ourselves to go there. If we don't allow ourselves to go there, we're still in that learning phase. We still keep ourselves trapped in these illusions of this earthly life, right? And we're not growing. We're not reaching our highest potential. Because if we have a piece of God in us, we're limitless, because God is limitless, right? So why would we be given that energy if we were meant to just sit on it and be miserable or be mean or be and I'm not saying we have to be perfect, because if we were perfect, we'd be on the other side. I feel like that's where perfection lives. Here, it's impossible, but we can come as close to it as we can. And our job is to expand more and more and more and more, and bring more of this creator, divine, unconditional love and joy energy, and just allowing ourselves to be as big and dream as big as we possibly can, and get the best out of life, get the best of what earth has to offer, right? We're not meant to live in misery and squalor or whatever it is. And I know there are so many that are suffering out there, and it's just what can we do? What can we do to get our next level of humanity, right? We ask ourselves these questions. We see all the shit that's going on. We're like, how can we help? Or how can we stop this? How we stop this is getting into the highest level of being for ourselves, reaching our own full potential. No way can we get there from a place of resentment, anger, depression, misery, beating ourselves up, or just being extremely triggered and just not, you know what I'm saying? Just how being in that space. So no matter what you've done in your life, you still deserve to to have the most fulfilling life. As my one-on-one clients know, I talk about getting to a 10, from a scale of 0 to 10, 0 meaning this sucks, not even close, 10 being the most fulfilled, not perfection, it's not perfect, it's I'm living into my highest. I feel absolutely joyous and fulfilled, like I'm right on purpose, on target, like I'm living into my highest potential. So, and where was I going with this? To get into, you deserve to live in that space of all 10s. As one of my mentors says, your 10iest 10. What is your 10iest 10? You deserve it no matter what you've done. The Creator Divine does not want you to live in that place of just, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, because otherwise you wouldn't be here. You are here because you're worthy enough. You're here because you have a reason for being here. Your journey, even going through that shit, even doing that shit you might have done, is part of your journey. And I know it sounds like, well, I'm just making an excuse or just bypassing some stuff. But I say, again, there's no mistakes. We do what we do with the knowledge and the consciousness that we have in the moment. And that has been given to us by the divine. If we knew better, we would have done better. Period. There's something within us in our development that helps us make the choices that we make. Our level of wokeness. And I mean woke within you, not woke within the world, not woke within, like, I don't even want to go there. I can't. So I mean woke within you. Are you awake to your highest potential? Are you awake to the fact that you're fucking amazing and limitless? That's what I mean. Are you awake to the fact that you have a direct connection to the divine whenever you want, 24/7, 365? And I'm going to tell you my story about why I feel this way. I'll help you to know, like, that you can make shitty decisions, you can fuck up, and you can still step into your higher self. You can still know that you're worthy and deserving. And it took me a long time to get to this space. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm 48, okay? It took me a long time to get here. A lot of work, a lot of shadow work. I still have work left to do. It's never done, especially if you're healing from your own childhood stuff, which I have a lot of, like that childhood trauma, and I'm still working on that, okay? So that's part of it. And so for me, I thought of this today because I was doing my studies for my Reiki level 1, and it talked about the greatest gift we can give is healing ourselves. So when we're healing others, we're healing ourselves in the process, but we're also working on ourselves is just the greatest gift we can give to ourselves and to the world, okay, is healing ourselves. And I thought of my husband and I both had recent birthdays, and we haven't talked to our mothers for years. And I'm gonna say this right now, this is a vulnerable share, okay? So, just because I'm in the spiritual business and I do coaching and I do readings and do all these things, and I just love on my clients with just in my groups and everybody, and I just love on the world right now, doesn't mean I don't have difficult relationships of my own. Okay, doesn't mean I haven't made mistakes. Doesn't mean I haven't, there's no toxicity in my life, okay? So my husband and I have not talked to our mothers for years. And both of our mothers contacted us on our birthdays this year. And so we made the tough decision to walk away from these relationships years ago because we felt there was a toxicity level happening. And for our own growth and for our own, our own next level of growth, and for our own ability to heal and figure things out, we had to put distance. Hard, I know, it's our mothers, it's really hard to say, okay? And anyways, so now we have to contemplate bringing these relationships back into our lives now. What do we want to do about this? What are we trying to create? How have we grown? How are we going to handle things? How are we going to show up as our best selves now with what we've learned, okay? And sometimes separation is needed. Sometimes you can work it out without doing that. It all depends. It's all your journey, and it's all okay, right? And it can all be done with grace. But by the way, so that thinking about that time when we stopped talking to our mothers reminded me of that period of time in my life. So it reminded me of, it was chaotic. It was tumultuous. My husband's business had taken a huge downturn. He has his own business. It took like a huge hit. a couple of major clients that we had lost at the time. So we had to change where we lived. We had to move out of where we were. Our money situation got extremely, extremely tight, to a scary point, and we hadn't planned for it properly. So we had to move out of a house that my older kids had pretty much grown up in until that time. They were babies and they'd grown up in. And we had to move to an apartment that was really not, like, really kind of yucky. And at the time I didn't know this, but my Lyme and chronic illness was just starting to develop, and the apartment that we were in had some like mold in the bathroom that I wasn't aware of, and I was starting to get sick and get symptoms from that, but I had no idea what was going on. To me, it was just like, must be stress, like heart palpitations, trouble breathing, and I would get like ragey, and I'm not blaming the illness or blaming the mold. That your outside life is indicative of here. Your exterior matches your interior. It was me, and I was on complete emotional overload. Like, this is when we were arguing with all of our extended family members, so there was no support for, you know, either of us. We were in extremely toxic situations, like very, very, like, really, really ugly and nasty arguments. Really hurtful things were said, and I was still like dealing with kind of navigating through my life post-divorce and kind of having conflicts with my ex-husband. Like, there was so much going on, and we just weren't happy with where things were. We weren't happy with what was going on. It seemed like shit was coming down on all levels, right? From every angle: health, money, relationships, all the things, right? And I will say, like, I didn't handle it well at all. I would say, looking back now, it wasn't depression, I wasn't depressed, but I was probably in a state of mental breakdown almost every day. Now that I look at it, now that I'm doing work about, like, you know, focusing on empaths and like not only just absorbing the energy, but just having stuck energy. Plus it triggered everything from my childhood, like triggered all my childhood trauma, right? All the things that I hadn't dealt with, that I, you know, the work that I hadn't done, triggered all my shadows. And my two littler kids at the time were either 3 and 2 or 4 and 3. And I was a shitty mom to them. I'm just gonna call it out right now and own it. I'm gonna own my shit. I did not, like, they saw the ugly. They saw the ugly. And I don't mean this in like like their safety was in danger in any way. I mean, I said so many things that I regret, that if I think about, I will start crying right now. I'm already kind of choking up. I was like, my moods were all over the place. They, you know, and they were just being kids. They were just being 4 and 3 or 3 and 2, doing developmentally appropriate things. And they were probably stressed out because everything in their life was chaotic and they couldn't make sense of it being little kids, right? All they saw was that their parents were frustrated, angry, sad, upset, short on patience, you know, kind of like short-tempered, and it was so hard. That period of time that I look back now, like, I can't even believe that was me. Like, it's just so many things. And I had no energy. I felt like shit. I mean, it was like just everything. And I was just like, they had to bear that huge burden at that young age. And I know that's traumatic to them. I mean, now that I know, and I've like been diving deep into all this spiritual work about empaths and about even health and wellness, my own chronic illness journey, I know that trauma gets stuck in them. That was their 0 to 7 years. That's like fucking critical for their emotional development and for what they carry. They're gonna carry that burden and that pain from that whole time, and probably like feeling like just so insecure about what the hell was going on and that chaos. They're gonna be dealing with what I deal with. Like, they have potential now for autoimmunity, chronic illness, for dealing with like major limiting beliefs based on what they heard and what they saw, developing their mindset about the world from that time, right? So it breaks my heart to this day. I fucked up big time. I did not I was a martyr about it. I sat and just was upset about things all the time and felt like the burden just all fell on me and I could barely deal with it. And my emotional cup was in like spillover all the time. I was like one raw nerve, right? So, and instead of asking for help elsewhere, since we were at odds with family, instead of asking for support or finding it, or like standing up for my own self-care, or just finding ways to deal with it in a more healthy way, I just lost my shit like way too often, and was so disconnected from my higher self, so disconnected, because that is not how my higher self would handle that, right? That is not, the higher self is, what would love do? What would love do? Bring myself back to a feeling of, even though I was going through a shitstorm, that bring myself as much as I can back to a state of centeredness, calm. I didn't have any rituals. I didn't have meditation. I didn't have prayer. I didn't have crystals. I didn't have any of that. I didn't use any of my spiritual practices at all. I just got so caught up in this sucks, and so caught up in the vision and the worldly, earthly mentality that I'm powerless to do anything. Everything's happening to me, not for me. I can't change this, or whatever it is. Like, everything else is bigger than me. I don't have the power to change. I'm looking for my validation, my worth. I'm looking for my happiness on the outside. I went completely off the rails, okay? And probably at the expense of my younger two kids. And it's like, so I fucked up big time. So got fucked, I did. So, but if any of you heard my interview with Antonia Lau yesterday, and her and I talked about this in a message too, that we choose each other as souls. This is a totally separate, I don't want to get too far into this because this is its own live stream, where as souls we choose who we are with in this lifetime. And I truly believe that. I'm not using it as an excuse to excuse my behavior or to rationalize it or to say, oh, it's okay to be an asshole because guess what? Everybody chooses to be around you. Your souls agreed on this. It's a soul contract. So woohoo! No, like, we still should be striving, learning, growing, and forgiving ourselves as we forgive others, so that we can open up to our highest potential and stay connected to the divine. So what I mean, this video, the purpose of this is just to say, I fucked up too. I fucked up major. And I was just reminded of that today, how I really, really, really did not listen to the calling of my soul, and I fucked up. And it wasn't fair to my family. And so, yeah, and we can really work on healing all those traumas. We can rewrite our insides, our DNA. We can rewrite all of the soul. We can, get back to, we can definitely heal and do all that work, and we will. But still, it doesn't change the past. But I could not stay in that space of beating myself up. And I stayed there for a while. I could not stay in that space. I couldn't stay in that space of no growth. I couldn't stay in that space of I have to punish myself all the time. I had to listen, and believe me, I had to get really sick to stop this cycle. I had to get to that point where, and I had to do a boatload of personal development work. This is why I'm so passionate and committed about it. I worked with coaches. I listened to endless audios, podcast videos. I still do every day, read books, and learn to listen to my soul. And I still feel called, and I feel like it's my passion and my higher potential to be a healer and a coach and a reader. And I pursued these things, even though I screwed up, even though there were times when I didn't listen at all, even though there were times when I caused pain to other people. And I still know now that I am just as worthy to be a healer, that I can do this work, and that I am absolutely called to do it, and that still the Creator wants that for me, wants abundance for me, family, relationships, love, health, emotional, financial. The Creator still wants that for me. The Creator still is going to push me. The divine will push me in that direction, even if I went off the rails. So don't listen to, I'm encouraging all of you, if you feel called to do this work, you're spiritually curious. And even if it's not for a business, you might just don't want to do it for yourself. You might just want to do it because what you learned as a kid about spirituality just doesn't resonate anymore, and you feel like there's a greater story and there's more to this, and you want to be on another side of history when humanity goes to its next level and steps deeper into love and joy. You want to be on and part of that movement, and you know you're called to it, right? Instead of what other things seem to be happening that the media wants you to believe. You want to be part of that, or maybe you do want to be a reader for people, or a healer, or you want to be a coach. I would say you absolutely can do this right from where you are now, even if you made the biggest fuck ups ever. And I'm right there with you. I am with you in the trenches. I'm with you in the journey. I'm with you and just lifting you up right now and saying, listen to the callings of your soul. Listen to what you're being asked and called to do. What does it feel good? Do a body scan. Does it feel good? Does it feel right? Listen to that and know that you're worthy no matter what is in your past. You are absolutely worthy, and you can do this just as well as me, the Long Island medium, or whoever else, Colette Baron Reed, or whoever else that you are listening to or influenced by, or any of my speakers. You too can go on your own spiritual awakening. You too can be woke to yourself and to your highest potential and your highest gifts, no matter what has already happened. So give yourself a lot of grace today, a lot of love, a lot of forgiveness if you need to, because you are already forgiven. You are already loved. You are already accepted, and you are already anointed. It's already been done. So it's just now you needing to make the decision to step into that call and to do the work and to really allow yourself to step into your next level, because you can. All right, so that's it. That is it. That's it for me. And I love you guys so much, and I hope this helped somebody today and will encourage you to go on your own journey. By the way, if you want to talk to me more about it and you want to dive in, definitely get in touch with me. Do an alignment call with me. I almost forgot the name. I almost said strategy, but that's not it. Do an alignment call with me for 15 minutes, and we can talk about, you know, how to get you started, how to get you launched out. And also I have programs coming up in the fall that will help you to deepen your gifts as an empath or as a light worker, will help you to launch your business if that's what you want to do, or just help you to do it for yourself and help you to create a better life and a life with deeper meaning, because you're at your potential. Not deeper meaning for someone else or what they want, because it's your potential, your fulfillment, what you're meant to do. Okay, so if you want to see my interview series, go to, the link is in the comments. You can go to jenrapinion.com or awakenedempathlive.com. But as far as my programs, Lightworker Rising and The Awakened Empath, and one-on-one coaching I do as well, if you want really, really hands-on support on a weekly basis and you really want to work closely, one-on-one coaching is awesome as well. So I can't speak highly enough of how coaching and programs helped me, and I'm still in them. I still do them to this day. So don't be afraid of making that investment in yourself. But again, that's a whole other video about investing in ourselves and our growth, because I have invested tens and thousands of dollars into this work, and it's fucking the best investment I ever made, because I would be such a I would be a non-functional big hot mess after going through situations like that if I was not doing this. All right, so I love you guys, and I will see you on the next video. Have an amazing Sunday. Take good care of yourself. It's Self-Care Sunday, so do something to nourish yourself, and I'll see you tomorrow. Lots of love.